All right, hi everybody. Good morning. This is our last stream that we have together, which is hard to believe. We're in our final week of our class, so I'm here for my PACE Intro Psych course. I see several of you kind of getting logged in, getting your names in the chat, but hard to believe that we are in the last week of our 8-week class that we have together. Can you hear me and see me? Okay, is everything coming through? All right, on your end, it looks fine on mine, but just to make sure that you can hear and see me just fine. If someone could let me know, that would be amazing in the chat. I'll wait just a second while everyone's getting situated. Can you hear me and see? Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for letting me know. I always want to make sure, especially on campus here, because you never know. But so again, good morning. It is March officially, as of today, March 1st. So a couple of things I want to do. We're in week number 8, as I mentioned, the last and final week of our class and our semester. And so I want to go over the things that are due this week. We do have one component that's a little different than usual, so I want to make sure I go over that along with the exam. And I will remind you several times, but remember that our class officially ends this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So make sure that everything is done and submitted before that deadline so that you can have it count towards your grade. But let's go ahead and go over to Canvas together and we can take a look at everything that we have going on. Again, we are here, right? Hard to believe that our class is almost done. So remember that you have access to week 7 and 8. So everything from week 7 and 8 is due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So last week you had chapters 13 and 14, discussions 13 and 14 pop up. And this week we have the last 2 chapters. So chapter 15 and 16, discussions 15 and 16. Then you also have a closing assignment, which we'll spend some time talking about, along with exam number 4. So again, our last week of the semester, last week of the class, don't forget that everything must be turned in by this Sunday night if you want it to count towards your grade. So as always, make sure you read chapter 15 and 16 in the ebook, like you've done all course long. And then you'll want to go through the lecture for chapter 15 and 16, click on any links, watch any of the videos, explore all the content that I have for you. And then don't forget the lecture videos as well, where you're going to want to take notes and pay attention, as all that will definitely appear on the exam. Discussion 15 and 16, let's look at those really quickly together. Last 2 discussions, so discussion 15, we're looking at the topic of therapy. And so you have a couple of questions to answer related to therapy. What are some of the stereotypes of therapy that either you have personally, or maybe you've seen or heard in the media or from others? How would you describe the stereotypical therapist? In other words, what are some stereotypical things a therapist might say or do? Do they have a particular gender or age or appearance? What are the things you think of stereotypically? And you're welcome to look this up, or you can kind of just build on what you have in your mind or what you've seen in the media. And then this is the biggest one, this last bullet here. Using the textbook, lecture, or the provided website right here, if you were to ever consider going to therapy, or maybe if you're going now, which 2 of the therapeutic approaches would be your top choices and why? Describe at least one technique and one goal of each of the 2 chosen types of therapy. And in your explanation, be sure to reference the specifics, right? Tell me about the type of therapy. What are their goals? What are their techniques? And so on. You're picking 2, either from the textbook, lecture, or from the website, or it can be a type of therapy that you've heard of that isn't mentioned. Any of those things are fine. But watch my little video, answer the questions fully. You can hit reply when you're ready. And then don't forget to reply to a classmate to get those 2 points. But the biggest point earner here is this last bullet. If you were to consider going to therapy, which 2 approaches would you look at? And what are some of the hallmarks and descriptions of those approaches? So make sure you describe that in some detail. The other one that you have for this week, again, kind of business as usual, 2 discussions, 2 lectures, and so on. Discussion 16, the last discussion. I get sentimental at the end of the semester. Everything is the last. Right, for the last discussion, you can watch my video, of course. Uh, I want you to complete and reflect on these things. The first one, you're going to perform 3 random acts of kindness, 3 altruistic acts. Now, ideally, these should be unplanned and kind of random, but you can kind of structure them a little bit if that makes it easier. These can be really small little gestures, or they can be something much bigger, depending on the situation. I want you to describe the 3 acts that you performed. What did you do? What was the reaction of the recipient, if any? What were your thoughts and reactions? Kind of describe the whole thing. And these can be done on somebody in your family if you don't feel comfortable going out and about into the world. They could be done with a stranger at a store or out in public somewhere. I often try and do these things. I helped a woman yesterday put a case of bottled water into her car. It was totally minor, but it was this older woman. She was parked right next to me at the grocery store, and she looked like she was struggling. I asked her if she'd like some help. She gave me kind of a confused look and then said, sure. And so I helped her. She said, thank you. And that was kind of the end of it. I felt good for being a good little helper. So you'll describe the random acts that you did and any reactions. Then I want you to describe a time where you were the victim of prejudice or discrimination in any way. It could be your age, your race, your ethnicity, orientation, gender, religion, ability level. It can be anything. Maybe somebody didn't take you seriously because of your age, or someone had an expectation of you because of your sex or gender. It can be anything related to any of those categories, but describe what happened, your reactions. Very unlikely that at some point you haven't been a victim of prejudice or discrimination, but if you haven't, you could always describe an example of someone in your life who had went through something. And then finally, what are some strategies that people can employ to help reduce prejudice and discrimination? And this is something you can find in the lecture. And then I also made a little video on it in the Canvas lecture for the week. So when you're ready, you'll hit reply. You can talk about your reaction, and then, of course, reply to one of your classmates as well. So don't forget to do these last 2 discussions before this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. I'm going to skip this for 1 second. So you also have a final exam. Now, I want to point out that exam number 4 is just a 4th test. Okay, so it's not cumulative. It's not like on everything. The closing assignment allows me to have a little cumulative portion without testing you on everything that we've covered. So if you were to open study guide number 4, what you'll see is that this covers the last 4 chapters that we are looking at in week 7 and week 8. So if it loads here we go. Chapter 13 on stress, 14 on mental illnesses and disorders, 15 on therapies, and 16 on social psych. So it's only on these 4 chapters. You don't need to study everything from before. You're welcome, right? You don't want to, cumulative tests are the worst. So it's only on the things that we've covered in this unit. Make sure that you study and prepare like you have for the other 3 exams you've taken. Please, especially of all of the times, please don't wait until Sunday night to take the test. This is the last exam. Our class closes Sunday night, and then grades are due very quickly after that. So please, please, please try and do this Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning if you must, but don't wait till Sunday night. If there's a problem, we might not have enough time to fix it. So please try and take it earlier in the week if possible. It's on the ebook page, like always, 75 points, same amount of time, same format, all of the same strategies I've been giving you all semester, to study and prepare, use the study guide. All of that stuff is going to help you on the final. So, and again, remember, it's not cumulative. It's just on this last unit. So be sure to take the exam. Be sure to do the 2 discussions. If you haven't done the materials from last week, of course, don't forget those. You want to make sure you have everything in by this Sunday night. The last thing I want to go over is the closing assignment. And so since I didn't give you a cumulative final, I did give you a little like cumulative paper. And it's worth 25 points, so it's more than a discussion, definitely less than an exam. So take it seriously, spend some time on it. But this is your chance to kind of reflect back a little bit on the things that we've covered over the semester. So what you'll do for this is it's worth 25 points. It's due by this Sunday night. You're going to be uploading a file right here. So you hit start assignment just like you would for one of the extra credits or so on. And the goal of this paper is to look back over all the topics that we've covered and pick 5 different concepts, 5 specific ways that the content from this course can apply to your life. So I'm looking to see that you can identify something that we've talked about, define it, and then apply it to your life in some way. That is the focus of this paper. And you're going to be following a very specific format that I have right here. So it's not necessarily even an essay. It's more kind of following this structured format so that I can see that you're applying it. So you're going to pick 5 specific concepts or ideas that you can apply to your life. And for each of those 5 things, you're going to choose, you're going to be connecting it to your life in some way. So you're going to give me the term or concept that we've covered in the class. You can define it. This should be from the lecture or the textbook. You can literally just copy and paste the definition. That's totally fine. Where the bulk of your points are coming in is on this application piece. How can this term or concept make sense of something that has happened in the past? Or maybe how can it help guide you or be applied to a real life situation either now or in the future? Make sure that it's specific, make sure that it's appropriate to what you're talking about. You're going to be numbering your examples 1 through 5. This obviously will be typed as you're submitting it here online. You're going to attach it as a separate file. I have given you a little rubric. This is where 25 points, basically 5 points for each of the 5 things that you're looking at. If I go back as well, I do have a couple other things that might be helpful for you. I gave you a concept list. So I figured it might be a little daunting to try and think back over everything that we've covered. So what I did is I went through chapter by chapter and wrote some of the big concepts and terms that we covered for each chapter, just as a way to try and help you out. But you can choose anything that we covered over the semester. Let's say in the stress topic, coping strategies, that one of the coping strategies we talked about was really helpful for you. Maybe you pick that as your example. Maybe in the unit on emotions, something about how to be happier, some of those suggestions maybe they were helpful for you and you're going to apply them. Or something in memory, how to improve your memory. You're going to pick 5 different concepts or topics and then follow the format that I had for you in the instructions to talk about them. I also gave you a little bit of a sample. So right here, you can see a closing assignment sample submission. And again, don't think about this as a traditional paper. It's more like following the format. So you'll give me the term, you'll give me the definition from the textbook or the lecture, and then about a paragraph about how can you apply it. So again, another one, term, fundamental attribution error, definition, and then a paragraph about how you can apply it. And you'll do this 5 different times for each concept that you're covering, and it's worth a total of 25 points. So definitely take some time. I think this is a wonderful way to reflect back on what we've covered. I hope you have more than 5 things that you can apply, but pick 5 that stood out to you in some way, and you'll be submitting it right here through this link. Remember that the format is limited to docx, PDF, and RTF. So just make sure that you have one of those formats. If it's a pages document, you'll have to convert it. And then you'll hit start assignment and you can upload the file right here. And I will be grading these throughout the week, trying to kind of keep on top of it as we go. But otherwise, everything from this week, I will be grading next Monday. I'll be grading everything from week 7 and 8. And you can kind of have an idea of your final grade probably next Monday or Tuesday as our class will be over. So those are the big things for this week, right? Make sure if you haven't already done week 7, do that. Read chapters 15 and 16, go through the lectures and the lecture videos, discussions 15 and 16, the closing assignment, which we just went over, exam number 4, don't forget to use the study guide to help you prepare. I will post the recording of this later on. There's about 10 of you on here with me right now, but I'll be posting this later if you wanted to watch it later. And I will give you the extra credit in just a moment. So a couple of last reminders for you. If you could one last time double check that you are still subscribed, I would really appreciate it. I do one last time need to download anyone who has watched this or joining me today. So if you could take one last opportunity to go back and make sure that you're still subscribed with your Prime account. Most of you did a beautiful job of doing this. Thank you so much. Again, it saves me so much time. But like Jacqueline, yours is expired. And if you don't see the cake next to your name, please just do it one last time for me so that I can track you. I want to also remind you that our class officially ends Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So that is this Sunday. I'm going to put that again in here. This Sunday, 3/6, at 11:59 p.m. Make sure again that all materials are turned in before that deadline. After that, it's going to be too late. Thank you, Mia, for letting me know. After that, it's going to be too late to turn anything in. So please, again, make sure you get everything in before that deadline. Again, on Monday next week, I will be grading everything. You'll see your final grades pop up on Canvas. So I will have those on Monday or Tuesday for you at the worst next week. I do give a tiny bit of a buffer, 10 points or 1.5%. So if you are right on the line, that will definitely help you. Those of you who are like just on the border of an A or a B or a C or whatever, I do give a tiny bit of a buffer. You can also do the last 2 extra credit opportunities. There was the one from last week, which is still available to you. And then I'll give you the question here in a moment if you want to do extra credit for Twitch number 8. So are there any questions for me? I'm going to copy and paste the extra credit question, but any questions for me at all while I'm working on putting this up there? Just to make sure. While I'm waiting for you, again, here's the Twitch extra credit for week number 8 for this week. If someone had a phobia of heights, what are 2 methods that could be used for treatment? Name and describe. Can't type. Name and describe them. Wow, I'm really not doing well with the typing on my name and describe them. Okay, so if you want to do this last extra credit, you'll go back to Canvas. And since we're in week 8, you'll go to Twitch extra credit number 8 and click on that. Up at the top, start assignment. And then in the box, you can type your response down here. And when you're ready, hit submit. You get that little confetti burst. And do we get anything else? Just confetti. But definitely do this. Get those last 2 points of extra credit. And you can still go back and do week number 7 if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, I can still you'll still show up on my list of people who have watched it and can get those points. The recording's still right here. But otherwise, get going on all the materials for this week. Make sure everything's done by Sunday night. And thank you all so much for so many of you joining me every week for these live streams. I've really appreciated your presence and your questions and interactions. And again, what has, of course, been such a strange semester, I really appreciate how many of you joined me and interacted throughout this course. And I hope you found these little Twitch live streams to be helpful in some way, kind of going over all this, all the stuff that's due and having a chance to see that I am a real person, that I'm here. So I hope that you enjoyed the course and that it went well for you. If you found that you really are interested in psychology, you could always consider taking another course. I also teach Psych M08, which is abnormal psych, Psych 13, which is human sexuality, Psych 6, which is research methods, and then every few years I teach personality theories as well. So if you like this course, you could always take another one with me or with somebody else. But please get going on all the materials for this week. If you have questions, I will hang out for a little bit, or you can, of course, always email me. But I think that is everything that I wanted to share with all of you. So again, I'll hang out for a little while if you do have any questions. Otherwise, please take care of yourselves. Hang in there. Enjoy the mask mandate being lifted if that's something you're excited about, or be nervous about it like me if that's how you feel. But I'm glad you love the class. Thank you so much again. I'm going to minimize my video, but I will hang out, as I said, for a little while. If you have questions about the closing assignment, the exam, anything about the class, I am here. Otherwise, again, thank you. And I'm sad that we're done, but it's always a little bit exciting to finish it as well. So always mixed. And I'm glad you love the class. Thank you all so much. Again, I'm going to minimize this, but I will hang out for a little while if you do have any questions. Have a nice day for you as well, a nice week, a nice rest of the semester. Thank you as well. Take care of yourselves. And I am still here if you think of anything, if you have any questions at all, I am still here, just to let you know. Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you. All right, everyone, it looks like I'm the only one on here, so I'm going to close this up so I can start the download and upload. But if you think of something, feel free to email me. And thank you all again so much for a wonderful short class.